science fans, and welcome to SHE-ensya's Corner. Here, we kick back, relax, answer some of your questions, and talk about science events, both great and mundane, in the life of your resident Filipina scientist. Oh my god, I missed saying that. Hello, science fans. Hello, science fans. Hello, science fans. It feels so good. It's September 5, science fans, and welcome to the first episode of SHE-ensya's Corner. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Chana Camille Vinci Cruz Abeledo, and I am your resident Filipina scientist. I thought of making SHE-ensya's Corner in order to be able to share interesting things that I learned in the span of the week. Because you see, in Season 1, our Saturday content is typically a little bit more light-hearted, but it zones in on just one topic. And you might have noticed I have a tendency to get distracted and sometimes to digress. So here, I get to do all of that and more! Yay! So this week in history, first off, let me greet you a Merry Christmas! The birth season of 2020 has finally arrived, and this means the start of the Christmas season here in the Philippines. Sadly though, as of yesterday, we have 228,000 COVID-19 cases in the country, with more than 67,000 remaining active. Also, Chadwick Boseman, our Black Panther, passed away due to complications from a 4-year battle with colon cancer.
Wakanda forever!
Considering that Homo sapiens as a species, in the real world, not in the Marvel Universe, actually originated from Africa, King T'Challa, in fiction, would then actually be our king. Science fact. How do we know that we're from Africa? Well, there's a bunch of archaeological and anthropological records that make up what we call the Out of Africa theory. The Out of Africa theory is based on how the fossil and archaeological records combined show that Homo sapiens, that's us, most likely developed in the Horn of Africa between 300,000 and 200,000 years ago, and that several out of Africa dispersals of modern humans, possibly beginning as early as 270,000 years ago up to 215,000 years ago, led to the peopling of the entire planet. But as a molecular biologist, I have a personal bias for another theory that more or less explains the same thing, and it is what we call the genetic Eve theory. The genetic Eve theory is based on how our mitochondrial DNA is largely passed on from mother to child. And since mutation rates for mitochondrial genes are rarer and relatively more constant, we can actually trace matrilineal lineage far, far back in our history. And from that large amount of data, it suggests that our earliest common ancestor was a woman from Africa, our genetic Eve. Now, we did have a recent shocker indicating the possibility of inheriting mitochondrial DNA from fathers, but as of January 2019, no further evidence for paternal inheritance of mitochondrial DNA in humans has been found yet. So what else happened this week? Well, in the colorful world of Philippine politics, we heard something like this. To be fair, I think she might be referring to the possibilities of vertical farming. Science fact! Vertical farming is the practice of growing crops in vertically stacked layers. It often incorporates controlled environment agriculture, which aims to optimize plant growth and soil-less farming techniques, such as hydroponics, aquaponics, and aeroponics. So yeah, with this relatively new technology, we can actually grow crops with less soil and less water, but not no soil and no water. Apart from that, not all crops are actually suitable for soil-less farming. So to assert that we don't need land or irrigation to grow our food, and that this land allocated for agriculture can be so easily converted into subdivisions and factories, well, so this week, what else happened this week? Oh, of course, we had our Season 2 premiere! So the Y series was actually loosely inspired by this Pisay commercial by Sir Gerson Abisamis, created by his batch 2011 class. I think its title was Asking Questions Since 1964. And as a Pisay alum, it actually really inspired me about how I can frame certain ideas that I have into something that is more cohesive across the season. Hello science fans, and welcome to SHE-ensya. Why do we go hungry? Why do we even get bored? Why did we evolve to have religion? Why is makeup part of human culture? Why are babies so cute? Why do we think that aliens exist? Why do we ask questions? The SHE-ensya Why series will dissect some of our most head-scratching why questions, teasing out the scientific principles from historical records, conspiracy theories, and mass media. So the tattoo episode was really fun to shoot, but during the production and even after posting, I was a little worried at the back of my head that as content, it might be a little too deviant. But the thing is, when you're in the sciences, I think there really is a challenge among us scientists to be more tolerant. Because you see, if you look at things under the lens of science, there's healthy versus unhealthy. There's sustainable versus unsustainable. There's environmentally friendly and non-environmentally friendly. You have ethical versus unethical. But when it comes to right or wrong, then you're actually diving into the arena of beliefs. And beliefs differ person to person based on worldview. But you see, science deals with facts, and facts will be facts, whether or not you believe in them. We also had our What Is It Like premiere. Hello science fans, and welcome to SHE-ensya. Do you ever wonder what it's like to be in the wonderful world of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics? Let us hear from our sheroes, experts, students, and aspiring STEM advocates about what it's like to be passionate about science and technology. This week, we featured three sheroes, Donella Tan, Dr. Bridget Ko, and Professor Lorene Velasco, who all worked within the care of animals, and they gave us a glimpse of what is it like to actually walk a mile in their shoes. I was particularly moved by this common theme across our three interviewees talking about the struggles of caring for animals, but they all still kept at it no matter how hard it got, no matter how steep their climb was. And they all described the peak of this climb as something awe-inspiring and something that's so worth it. And with that, we move on to Q&A! So one of the most common questions I get is what camera I use to film my episodes. So the answer is, I use a phone camera! Yay! I don't think other content creators would advise this, but it's just more convenient for me. So I don't have to invest on a new gadget. It's easy to mount because it's light. There are in-phone or in-device editing tools already that I'm very comfortable with, so that when I transfer the videos to my editing rig, it's already pre-edited the way that I want it to look like. So it's the most convenient way for me, and at the same time, I think it gives a decent enough picture quality for my needs. Any suggestions from those who know better are very much welcome. Okay, so another common question is what I use to record my audio. I use a Samsung Meteor mic with a sound absorber to minimize ambient sounds when I shoot. So the sound absorber is particularly useful for blocking out lower intensity ambient sounds like the sound of your aircon, the sound of a fan that's relatively far away and at a low intensity, but it cannot block out the sounds of roosters, cars, dogs, kitty bells that keep ringing because they're walking around the room while you're shooting. And the last question for this episode is, how do I make time to make content? So I started SHE-ensya as a means to fill the time that suddenly felt empty, and also to stop myself from going crazy because of all the misinformation that was going around. But now that work has accelerated again, um, I try to find time after work hours and the evenings during weekends, mostly because it has transformed into something that I really believe in. It's also a means for me to practice science communication, which is an advocacy that I'm really passionate about. If you have any questions that you would like me to answer or suggestions for topics that we could discuss either in the Why series, the What's It Like series, or even here at SHE-ensya's Corner, please don't hesitate to post it in the comments section below, or maybe even send me a PM or a DM. And speaking of social media, please follow SHE-ensya on Facebook and on Instagram at she_ensya. You can also drop by our website at www.she-ensya.com. You can also follow my personal IG account at shauna.abeledo. I hope you were able to enjoy and learn something from today's SHE-ensya Corner episode. If you did, I hope you can give this video a thumbs up and also consider subscribing to our channel. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please don't hesitate to message me, your resident Filipina scientist, in the comments section below. Thank you very much, and see you around! I'm your resident Filipina scientist, not your resident Filipina filmmaker.